Hey, y'all. So it's your girl, Queen. Hey, thank y'all for joining us today on Slapping with Truth. So today we have the lovely Miss Dr. Nina Jefferson in the house. And she's going to come on here today and give y'all some great mind tips for business owners, right? Of how you can just continue to grow, even when you're frustrated, when you feel like you ain't yourself and you just don't know how to keep going. So we got Dr. Nina on here. And before we go any further, because y'all know me, I'm a talker, I keep going. So before we go any further, let me go ahead and introduce Dr. Nina Justice. Hey.
Hey. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me, Queen A.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Now, so you are a psychiatrist, right? Or
Psychologist.
Psychologist. Okay. That's why I didn't say that in the introduction, y'all, because I was like, I'm gonna say it wrong. So that's so that's why y'all see me pause a little bit. So, Dr. Nina Jefferson, just tell us about what it is you do, and just a little bit about just tell us a little bit about what you do before we go any further.
Sure. So, yes, I am a psychologist. So people mix this up all the time. Psychiatrists do the medications, psychologists do the therapy, the diagnosing and assessment kind of stuff. So that's kind of the difference there. But yeah, so I'm a clinical psychologist, so I diagnose a little bit more than others, and I actually still work full time at the VA. Right, so I serve those that serve the country. I love doing that. But I am here on the other side of the coin, which is my business, which is Path to Alignment. And so there I do mindset and peak performance coaching with entrepreneurs, business owners, high performers, and things like that, in a couple of different services that I do there. So yes, that is what I do. I can say a little bit about it if you like.
Yes,
Tell a little bit
please
about
do.
it.
Give us a little
All right.
background.
So I'll go back to me just a little bit to kind of tell you how I got there. So I consider myself like a high performing person, right? Like it takes a lot to get your doctorate degree, especially with this skin kind of thing. And so I thought, okay, I was going through these life changes and I was like, okay, I'm going to start a business to help with income, because I had lost some income from a divorce and all of that stuff. And I was like, I want something steady where the quality of life is going to stay. So I was like, okay, I could do that. If I could get a doctorate degree, I could do that. So I started in real estate, actually. I still do that. And I was like, become a real estate investor. I had done some research. I was like, okay, this is a very practical way to become a millionaire and become a self-made one. Had done some research, like I could do this. Get into that, and I mean, I hit all kinds of setbacks, all kinds. Now I paid for training. I invested in myself. I went through a program. I hired a coach, real estate coach. I did all the things, you're supposed to do. I didn't just like YouTube University away, what I'm saying? And I mean, it stumbled, right? It was like a lot of setbacks. And I was like, man, this entrepreneur game is no joke. I was like, it is no joke, even with your grit, even with the grit that I have. And it was times where I was like, if I did not have like the training that I have, I would have just like, I'm out. Like, this ain't working. I'm out. Right. And I really had to push. So that's really what opened the door towards me building Path to Alignment. So I was like working on myself a lot still, because I was like, okay, I'm not going to let divorce just take me away. And I was in this personal development space, right? So, and I fell into neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and fell in love with that, did a breakthrough, combined that with psychology, and created Path to Alignment. And I started getting into all these entrepreneur masterminds and programs, and started seeing a very common thread of what I was dealing with real estate, where mindset and habits was really getting in the way. And even like people either quitting the programs or not fulfilling their dreams over and over and over. Right. And it was a lot of mindset and habit stuff. And I was like, okay, so it really solidified, like, that's the gap. And that's where my passion is. Cause I'm like, man, we all have these big passion, these goals, such as yourself, Queen A, right? Like, and if we let the mindset and the habits and the frustrations knock us out, then we're not fulfilling our calling in life. So that's where Path to Alignment was birthed, is to build that gap and create that space for entrepreneurs and high performers that really don't have it. Because you're usually the person everybody goes to. right? Like if you're a high performer, you're usually that person in your family. You're going to be that person at work. You're going to be that person in your business because that's who you are in essence. And so, but where do you go? Where's the space for you? And it's a lot of times we feel like you can't even let down your hair and just be you and have a vulnerable moment, right? So path to alignment is that, to create that support of like-minded people and to really focus on like things very unique to entrepreneurs. So we deal with mindset, but unique to entrepreneurship challenges. We deal with habits, but it's success habits of business. We deal with communication, but it's like how to grow your team and how to talk to your team and how to like communicate with yourself and get better sales by communicating better. Right. And then we deal with like work-life balance and wellness. Like you need to have emotional well-being as an entrepreneur because 80% of us, the stats say, is highly stressed out. So we deal with those 4 tiers in my program to really optimize. Like you have to elevate yourself to elevate your business. And that's what we work on.
Oh man, so you just gave us like a mouthful, and I was so focused on man, I thought I said a manful because I was already going up here to the man.
Hey, it is a mindful. It is a mindful.
so I'm an entrepreneur, right? And you focus on mindset with entrepreneurs. So let's talk about that because entrepreneur, like you said, is frustrating. Like you just said it, like especially for different ethnicities, is different. That's just it just is what it is.
It is
So
what it is.
when you was going through what you was going through, just put us in a mind frame. Like, what was your mind frame that you was going through before you kept pushing? Because I'm pretty sure it was times when you was going through that where your mind was just like, you know what, f this. Like, like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
on this.
Oh
Forget
yeah.
this.
Still happy.
You know what I mean? So tell us, like, just give us, like, what do you like? Do you talk to yourself in your head, or do you like shout, or just like what do you do when you get to that moment to where
Look,
you just like
all the
F
above. I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm not gonna, I feel like whether you're in startup mode, whether you kind of scaling or even season, there's mindset challenges in all 3 of those areas. They just look different, but they're still there. Like when, everybody's trying to scale up, but when you scale up, it's just a new set of challenges that you have to learn how to deal with as an entrepreneur. So you're always going to be pushed with, with your business mindset and pushing through. That's not going to stop you. So you have to embrace like that's coming and that's going to help you to grow. That's one thing, even that. So like it's like embracing that change is inevitable. It's coming.
it's
And
definitely coming.
instead of looking at the problem as like this big adversity and here's another thing, like really learning to reframe your thinking is one of the biggest things that I would say I was doing in real estate. I'm doing it now, and I'll keep doing as well, right? So kind of looking at challenges as opportunity. I know that's cliche, but it really is true versus like just another thing. If anybody's thought about it in entrepreneurship, think about like a year ago how something seemed like it was a mountain. And you're like, how the heck am I going to learn how to do A, B, or C? I don't know first thing about that. And then a year down the road, right? Like now that is doable. Now you're rolling with that. And now you got a new set of challenges, right? Because you've learned that thing. So, they are opportunities. I can tell you, I'm not a techie person, but I've become way more of a techie person in my business. So that skill set, that curve has really pushed me, and that's going to be like that in any part of business, right? What's hard now won't always be, if you keep at it and have the mental discipline and the mental grit to push forward.
Right. Right. Like you said, because it's never, and I like how you said it's never going to get easier. Like, well, it get easier at a certain extent, but it's never going to go away. Let me say that.
Yeah. It's going to look different.
No matter if you're a billionaire, millionaire, or just a hundredaire, it's going to be a time where you just feel like you're ready to just give up. And I like how you said, like, you just got to, like, talk to yourself, like, and just, like, like, keep doing it, push through, and just give it a mindset of, okay, well, it might feel like a challenge right now, but look at the positive side of it. Like, if I do push through, like, I always talk about failures being like lessons, like, so it's like, yeah, I'm going through this now, but would I rather give up, you know what I mean, and then possibly never even see the end result, or should I just keep pushing through? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because when you screaming, that's when you really at debate mode. You debating in your head, like, should I quit or should I keep going? You know what I mean? So really, you just got to make that choice. Like she said, just keep going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when you make the choices to keep going, because you are a mindset coach and you deal with business owners, right? So, and we know all business owners, whether you flipping a patty or you talking to somebody, we all need mindset. That's something to focus on. So can you just think of something that you feel that you do first thing in the morning to help with your mindset? Because one thing I think is like first thing in the morning, it sets the tone kind of like for your day. So is there anything that you think that you do or you have like a ritual or routine or whatever that you do first thing in the morning?
Yeah. I think everybody's different because depending on if like you're a night owl versus a morning person, right? I think it's important to have some kind of structure though, right? Um, so whether that's like early in the morning you do that, but some kind of structure. For me, it has to start at night because if I do not, if I don't discipline myself to go to bed at a proper time, that morning routine is not happening. It's just like it's out the window. So it's like for me, it kind of starts like it starts at night. Like make sure you aren't burning it at both ends, like as entrepreneurs often do, right? So it's like you traded your 9 to 5 to work 24/7, and that ain't what that's not what we're supposed to be doing, And so some people work 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning on the business still instead of going to bed, getting a good night's rest so you can start your day the next day full of energy, concentration, and focus and ready to go. So first thing is get a good night's rest. So
She was talking to me,
then when
y'all.
you do
Y'all
morning routine,
just
yes. Then when you do morning routine, yes, you'll actually get up and do morning routine. And for me, like personally, my morning routine is kind of alternate. So I'll have like every other day is exercise. Every other day is some kind of relaxation, whether that's like prayer, whether that's yoga, or I'm just kind of doing like relaxation, deep breathing, whether I'm journaling, right? So I kind of have like every other day is an active thing, every other day is more reflective for me in the mornings, right? I kind of start my days that way. I've learned like for me, if you don't plan your day will plan for you kind of thing. So I kind of like to have a certain amount of to do things that I want to get done for my business and a certain amount of things I know I need to get done for my household or my family or whatever is going on, right? And I make sure that they both get done. So I protect the time. That's another important, like you protect the time for the things that matter. Otherwise, the business has a way of consuming everything. Everything. It's like I was supposed to spend time with A, B, and C, or I was supposed to go eat with such and such. I'm gonna call and tell them I can't make it. Because I'm still working on. No, if you committed to these things, right, and they're important, I have like accountability to myself to do that, right? So like I have a teenager. When she gets home, she knows like I'm shutting it down to create the space to have the check-in times with her when she gets home and know what happened with her school day and all of that kind of stuff. And we have that time, and that time is that time. And I'm not gonna say we can't do it today because mommy gotta work on ads today. No, we're not,
right.
that's carved out. And then I have a certain amount of time per day that I carve out for the business. So it's more just like being disciplined to the way you need to structure that day. So for me, that's kind of how I set the day is by kind of planning it out. Now for us high achievers, we usually write too many things. That's the thing I challenge with. I write way too many things on my list and like, okay, how did I expect to get all that done in a day today? And okay, so being realistic with that too, right? What can you realistically get done? And being okay with like rolling some of that stuff over to the next day if you gave it all you got kind of thing. But that's pretty much how I start mine. Like try to start it with a positive gratitude, prayer, kind of stuff, kind of set my day in tone and make sure I balance it with business plus family or social, whatever that is, and try to really hold myself accountable to it.
I like how you said, for you it starts the night before because that was interesting for me. Because like by me, especially, I used to work third shift, so my
Oof,
body is so used to being up at night.
up.
So my challenge is I have started saying like I got to be in bed by midnight. But it was so funny you said that because like I'll look at now I am good at looking at my schedule because I got a schedule like I got everything by the hour planned out like what I got to do the next day or
Hmm.
whatever. So I look at my schedule. Okay, this is what I got to do tomorrow. But I am still like the going to bed on time. That is the thing for me. I'm telling you because I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed by midnight, and then because everything will be done, I'll be like, well, you know what? I did get everything done, so I can treat myself. Let me just watch this, and that's how I do it. It's like a man thing. My man playing tricks on me. I'm telling you. Now, when I wake up the next morning, I stick to my routine. So I've been real good at that, sticking to my morning routine. And I am like you. It's funny how you said like, cause one day I exercise, next day I yoga, one day I exercise and I yoga. So I do it like that, and then I read in the mornings. But it was funny how you said you started the day before. That's why I was like, she's talking to me, y'all. Y'all just don't know because I'm working on that. Like that is the thing for me is getting to bed the day before. Because even though I get up and I start my routine the next morning, I be still like sluggish sometimes. But I get up
Yep.
because I'm like, I gotta get up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause for me now it's in my head, like if I don't get up, this is my business. I ain't got a 9 to 5 now. So if I don't get up
Mm-hmm.
and get this stuff done. So, but it was funny you said that. So I'm glad you shared that because I needed to hear that. If nobody else needed to hear that, I
Look,
definitely needed
that's
to
a
hear
lot of
that.
us. That's a lot of us
Yeah.
entrepreneurs need
Because
to
like
hear
you
that
said,
one. Yeah.
entrepreneur like I had to even learn how to plan my schedule because like you said, it was a time I was working 24/7 around the clock. And it wasn't until I even had to learn how to plan my breaks because I would be working
Mm-hmm.
all day and sometimes I would realize I didn't even eat and it's like 5 or 6
Yep.
o'clock. And I'm like, I didn't even ate yet. I had some tea and a piece of fruit, so like I'm glad you shared that because that is important when you are an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to keep your mind strong and stay focused. Because if you
Yep.
hungry, just like that Snicker commercial, you ain't yourself when you hungry. You know what I mean? Nobody,
That's a good example.
you can't be contacting potentials hungry. You be ready to, was he in there? You know what I mean? Anything,
Especially me. I get hangry. I definitely get hangry.
So I'm glad you shared that. So do you have like I know you said like for you it starts the day before, and so like the next day, do you think it's important for anybody? Because I heard you say like you have a lot of stuff that you write down, and like sometimes because all entrepreneurs we try to get a million things done in like one day. That's our biggest flaw is we try to we think we can do we'll write eight like we said we'll write 80 million things down don't think of it till the next day like I forgot I gotta go pick this person I gotta go drop this off I gotta go so do you think it's important to make a schedule, or do you think that some people, because I know everybody's different, you know what I mean? And I know you probably have
Mm-hmm.
more experience in this area than I do because you talk to a lot of people and with mindset when it comes to, do you think that it's important for all entrepreneurs to like schedule, eat like their time down to the wire? Or do you think for some it might be better to just do, like you said, just write down what you like the key things you need to get done for that day? And just long as you get them checked off, you okay?
I think it's personality driven, right? Like so I try to go with the demands of the clients that you're working with and like their personality and their habits, right? So I try to work with what's already there versus trying to force my angle on everybody, right? So that doesn't work all the time. Would it be better? Yeah, but are people going to do it all the time? Not necessarily, right? And so I think the important question is what's the end goal we're going for? And if the end goal is just to be more disciplined and like making sure that the key things you need to get knocked out get handled, then whether you schedule that hour by hour or you're a little bit more loose with that and you kind of have a bullet point strategy, as long as your outcomes got hit and that style works for you, then that style works for you. Um, so it kind of depends. Right now, I would suggest to be more detailed. That's going to the
Right.
more detailed you are, the better off. The more you're going to actually be disciplined to get those things done in that time frame. Of course, right? So you could do it that way, or you kind of do time blocks. Like for example, like say a lot of people I work with are still transitioning. So if they're working, then they're saying, okay, I'm working 2 hours on the business today. Right. But you don't want to just say you're working 2 hours on the business. What are you working on within those 2 hours in the business? So even though they're not planning out every single minute of it, right, they're still intentional about moving that needle. And the thing I try to focus on with a lot of entrepreneurs is make sure like most of your time should be on revenue producing activities. Are you doing a bunch of stuff that's like not moving the needle? Like, are you know what I'm saying? Like working on clerical things is not going to get you leads or build your business like that you could kind of delegate out and stuff like that. And if so, why are you spending so much time kind of over here versus on the things, is that avoidance here? There's some mindset stuff going on here? So like, I'm all in their business. I'm not going to, I'm really looking at the habits of why we doing what we doing the way we doing it right now.
Right. But that's your job, that's part of your job. So I'm glad you said that because it's different strokes for different folks. Because everybody is not like, so for some people, like you said, because, a lot of entrepreneurs, they got this big, everybody's talking about how, you need a calendar, write everything down and, down to the wire. But I'm glad you said that because some people can't focus like that. Like you said, they can have it written down all day, but they won't do it, even if it's written down. But if they had maybe something just somewhere where they could say, okay, well, today they have a calendar. These are 2 things I need to get done today. And as long as I get them 2 things done today, I'm okay. Some people work better like that. So I'm glad that you even brought that up because
I mean, for some, that's overwhelming. Think about like for some, that's overwhelming to have to write down like, I gotta get all that done today. Like if it's mindset stuff, you have to be mindful who you're working with, especially if they're a little more on the overwhelmed, anxiety producing side. Keep it simple. And so I'm all about shaping behavior because I'm like a behavior. I have a lot of expertise in behavior modification and behavior analyst. So like if they're in that space, that headspace, I would prefer they start small like that. Like, let's just focus on 2 or 3 things a day, but let's be consistent with that thing, right? Like that's the key, consistently doing it and feeling good about that. Then we can work our way up, right? Versus if I know that person's naturally like anxious, worried, overwhelmed, and already burnt out, and then I'm gonna tell them to like track 24 hours of their time and add more overwhelm to them, they're not going to do it. They're not gonna do it.
right.
So like you got to know who you're working with.
I like that. See, look, and that's we're gonna call that tip 101 for entrepreneurs because a lot of entrepreneurs think, and that's where the overwhelming part come in, like you said, because when they say write out your time blocks for each time, some people think, okay, well, I even down for when I wake up, I gotta write down when I wake up too, when I take a break, when I like when I pick my daughter up from school. So like you said, for some people it is overwhelming because they like, now that just seemed like way more than what I even thought about, like, so I'm glad that you said that because a lot of people think that's what they have to do, and now they know from listening to Doctor. Y'all heard it from Dr. Nina herself, right? That's not something. It's not something for everybody.
It's not for everybody. Right. Yeah. I mean, now will it give you an eye-opening experience real quick and let you see where you're putting your time? Yeah. I mean, that's why people tell you to do it, so you can see where you're wasting your time for the most part, so that you can be more efficient. But yeah. That's just my 2 cents, right? Like that may not be the same for everybody, but that's my 2 cents. I've done it both ways, depending on the person I'm working with.
So talk about wasting time as an entrepreneur. Let's talk about that because that is like the number 1 failure to entrepreneurship is wasting time. People thinking they don't have enough time, yet we scroll Facebook. Like how many of us wake up and you like, you know what? You ain't even brush your teeth yet, but you go to Facebook and you're scrolling and you're like, I'm only gonna scroll for a second. I just want to see if somebody sent me a notification or responded, and that's you've been scrolling for 2 hours, right?
Yeah,
we don't have time.
Facts. Get on them, Queen A.
So I just want you to talk about that for a second. How do you manage time, like as an entrepreneur? Like, okay, we got the blocks and the writing down thing, but when it comes to mindset, how do you think you gear your minds up to prepare for time? Because everybody thinks that they don't have enough time in a day. So, like, what would you give to entrepreneurs that's like, you know what, I don't have enough time. I got to do this and this and that. But then, they have a Facebook account, so we know they done spent at least an hour a day scrolling, right? At least, and I'm saying at least, and that's the least is an hour. So talk to us about what you would say to an entrepreneur that felt like they just don't have no time.
But actually, I would reiterate the time management piece we just talked about, because if you do schedule it out, it's going to help you be disciplined with not wasting a bunch of time. Like, honestly, that is one that I would go back to that exercise and see where time is being spent. So that is one thing I would make, because a lot of times with entrepreneurs, it's a blind spot. You got to see it to believe it. So if you track it and you can see like, okay, like I said, I'm doing, 30 hours on my business. I was going to do 2-3 hours a day. And I'm noticing now that I tracked it, that instead of 3 hours, I spent 3 hours on social media instead of 3 hours in the business, 3 days out the week. So now I'm behind by this many. It's going to help you see how easily we get off track, right? Easily. Like, oh, you start watching one show became three shows, or you stayed on the phone, that 10-minute call became an hour call. And it's a lot of stuff that can eat up your time, especially as I keep going back to this, but like high achievers where everybody's coming to you, like your time can be eaten up. So it's a lot of reasons. It's hard to give one, but one would be, are you disciplined with your own time management? What we just talked about. How's your boundaries, right? Meaning, like, did you stay on the phone for
That's
that
a big
hour?
one. Can you elaborate on boundaries for a little bit? I do know.
Yeah.
I hesitate to stop you on
Like,
that.
how's your boundaries with your family? How's your boundaries with your business? Meaning, um, if you're supposed to be off at, let's say it's just business. So if you say you're done at 4 and you're working till 9, then not good boundaries, right? Or if you say you're supposed to work on the business, until this amount of time, but in the middle you took a call, or you socializing, or you're watching TV, like your boundaries for your own discipline in habits is not good. Like you're not holding yourself accountable to do what you said you would do when you said you would do it. And on an unconscious level, you're basically telling your brain, like, it's okay. Like, we ain't taking this thing seriously. Like, it's okay to just like go with the flow and get the results as you want them whenever they come, and hope they just gonna come. Right. Because that's the thing. We're not seeing that A affects B and B affects C. So if you want these kind of results, you can't be all willy-nilly doing whatever you want anytime you want. You do have to have some discipline about it. So it's boundaries with other people, not letting them come in, but it's boundaries with yourself, right? Making sure you're disciplined to do what you said you're going to do when you're going to do it too. So accountability in that. That's a mindset.
Yes, it definitely is. That's the number one mindset is boundaries. That's why I had to
I call
stop
it
like
mental discipline. Just mental discipline.
Yes, I like that, because a lot of people, we think that, we wonder why we in the same position, but like we don't have no boundaries. We'll start doing a project as soon as our favorite cousin call us and they want to go down the street to the pub or whatever. We stop everything we do and we like, what, I'll get back to this. Our famous line, I can do this tomorrow. That's it. Everybody know that's the famous line, tomorrow. But we always know tomorrow never comes, because when you wake up, it's still gonna be the day. That's what I tell everybody. That's what I teach. Like, I don't care what day you wake up. You can say tomorrow, but when you wake up tomorrow, it's still today. So, So,
and I'm gonna get deeper on you on that. I always push people, look deeper than the surface of what you're doing. The surface is just a symptom. That's just a symptom. You need to dig deeper on why you keep letting that thing manifest like that. So if you keep getting off track so much, what's behind that, right? Is it avoidance? Is it like you feel so overwhelmed in the business side of like you can't even see trying to start the thing you're supposed to do because it just feel like it's so much? So instead you're going to shoot the breeze to cousin Trina over here, you know what I'm saying, instead. Or that's why you're not working on the revenue generating things, right? Because that seems a little bit more it's producing a little bit more fear and doubt in you, kind of thing, right? What's the deeper thing going on why you avoid not doing what you claim you want to be doing in life? There's usually something bigger there. And it could be something like that. It could be skill. It could be, I don't know, it could be overwhelmed, but it could be a lot of things. So I always tell people, look at the symptom and then take a little trail back and kind of see if you notice a pattern on what's going on for you there. Because that symptom's coming from something, right? It ain't just out the blue. So that's one thing that's a little deeper. The second one that's even deeper is go back to your generational patterns and see if that has anything to do, and it does, anything to do with why you're showing up the way you're showing up, right? So, everybody, that the term, the generational emotional trauma thing is a term that's all popular right now, but it's a very real thing. And it don't always have to be trauma, right? But we have these patterns that our mindsets deeply are rooted from the way we grew up. So your work habits, your money habits, right? Your lack of or business habits, or your knowledge of it, right? You either grew up with people that have a business mentality, or you didn't and don't have a clue, right? Either way. Or you've learned money mindset on like, how do people budget? How do people not budget and overspend? What are the work ethics of the way you grew up, and what did you see in your family? Was it like normalized that we work 2 jobs and never stop, and people don't do self-care kind of thing, or did you see something different? So all the ways, all the things and the way you grew up is affecting the way you run your business or lack thereof. That has something to do with it, very much so. So you want to kind of take a look back and see, like, what is it that's helping you with that, and what is it maybe that's not serving you so well as well. I have a whole workshop on like that within my program where we take the time to really delve into that. But for people, like, I would say, take a step back and see, is any of that playing out in, like, in your habits and in your mindset on how you're running things.
Thank you. I'm glad you went over that too, because everything is kind of like going into the next thing. How would you talk? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are scared of succeeding, not scared of failure. It's a lot of entrepreneurs that really don't succeed because they're scared, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people we're fearful of what we don't know. A lot
Yep.
of people, they've never been a millionaire. So it's like, hold on, they might sign this contract for real. So let me not do it, like you said, right? It's like it becomes a fear of success. So I know as you dealing with entrepreneurs, I know you had to deal with somebody like that because a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
entrepreneurs suffer from that. And I know for me, that was something I suffered from in the beginning was when I really understood that I had a gift and like, hold on, like I'm really changing lives. People really want what I have. Like it was scary for me. I pulled back a little bit because it was
Mm-hmm.
scary. Like, hold on, they really want to take this to the next level. I'm not used to the next level. So,
Yep.
I kind of start fiddling around and finding other things to do, like you said. You'll start
Mm-hmm.
finding other things to do. And it wasn't until I got serious and I was like, it just don't matter. I'm just going to have to let fear go. Because I had to realize, like, okay, I teach on this, right? I teach on fear. Like, I can't, I have to go do the same steps. So I actually took myself through my own course of fear. And it helped me so much. And I was like, man, I do that stuff. But it was amazing because it's like the stuff that I had to really realize. So for you, my question for you is, how do you deal with entrepreneurs that come to you? And that's like, because they ain't going to tell you they scared of success. Most of the time, we don't understand that that's what we scared of. We don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why we fearful, but is it a way that you can like pinpoint for you? Like if you're talking to somebody, can you like, okay, they're afraid of success? Like, is it certain
Yeah,
things?
it comes out over time. I think so part of I have two programs. So one is a one-on-one VIP thing where all we do is focus on like your limiting beliefs, your blind spots, releasing the major negative emotions around whatever you came in for. One of them is career entrepreneur stuff, right? Um so we get to the heart of like, okay, here go all the blind spots. And through the group program, which is only entrepreneurs, right? There's a category, it's like only focused on mindset stuff, but it's the common ones. And one of them is fear success, right? So I have like just certain things I know that's unique to entrepreneurship. And we make sure that we do a lot of reflection and things around that to get to the heart of stuff. So it's like, we not going to run that basically.
Right,
We ain't running away. We're going to like call it out and just put it out there and work on the things because I know these are the things that hold people back. Um, so like I kind of have a process that just takes us through those, whether you knew it was there or not, then that blind spot's going to come to the light. um I feel like when it's not within the program, a lot of times where you see that is where people have settled, and it's real subtle because there's success there most of the time, right? So they already have a level of success, they're doing pretty good, so they're comfortable and they've settled right here. So you're here, but you're supposed to be like up here,
right.
but you're doing this thing because this is comfortable. This is what you know. This feels okay. And like up here, I don't know. Am I gonna lose friends up here? Can I sustain up here? I don't know. Do I even have what it takes to be up here? Do I deserve to be up here? So they stay here. There's success here. This is middle class. And this is like a scaled entrepreneur that has some level of success too. Same thing. Now I'm not saying everybody like that is like, oh, fear of success, but like sometimes if you start talking to people and you gauge enough, you'll notice if there's just settling there and they know they're meant for greater, but they're not moving. So they're stuck there, but almost unconsciously. So you're not creating the space to actually make the change to go where you need to go. You just kind of keep the excuse to stay in the cycle that you're doing to do the same stuff. Right.
Over and
So
over.
sometimes like if I see that cycle, I'll call that out and explore to see like, For me, it's always go deeper, because that's the symptom, Queen A. Always the symptom will tell the tale. You go back and see where the root comes from.
Oh, okay. So go back to the root, the main cause. I like that because most of the time, even with what I teach, our environment, and people don't understand the way you was raised. That's your environment. That's part of your
Yep.
environment. You know what I mean? That has a big way to feel. That has a big. It plays a big part on how you think, how you feel, the way you act towards certain
Huge.
people. You know. So I'm glad that you even mentioned that. And but entrepreneurs that get that feels like, they suck and they can't go forward. Mindset is a big thing. Most of the time it's all in your mind. It's because you're scared of success or, and most of the time if you're an entrepreneur and you working on fear, most likely it's because you're fearful of succeeding. And I had to notice that most entrepreneurs, when they say they're fearful, is because it's something they've never done and they're actually scared of succeeding. And for you, do you think comfortability? Because some entrepreneurs, like you said, they get a certain level and they get comfortable. And for me, that's a danger zone. I feel like comfortability is a danger zone, and not just for entrepreneurs. I feel like for anybody, being comfortable is dangerous. Whether you in a relationship and you just comfortable, because I feel like you should always be striving to get better. Even if you're in a relationship, you should be striving to
Yep.
have a better dinner. Let me make this romantic adventure better than last time. You know what I mean? Or so can you like talk about the mind frame that you think people have when they're stuck in that comfort level? Do you think it's like what kind of mind frame do you think people have, and what kind of mind frame do you think they need to create to get from that position that you're stuck?
That's a good one. And there's no one answer to that, but like think about it from the mindset of that person is like you're comfortable and you have a level of success. And to grow always require like they say don't say always, but I've never known someone that can grow without challenge coming with it. So it's like if you think about it from that, it's like I'm okay where I'm at. Maybe it ain't great. It ain't the up purpose, the optimal purpose, but I'm living life right here. It's like a lot of times like why rock the boat? Why rock the boat? It was hard to even get here. Now you telling me go here. And I don't want to go through like all like what it took to get here was a lot of challenge, a lot of transformation in myself, pushing change. Maybe you lost some friends and some people along the way. Maybe there was some financial strains, some long nights. Like it's not easy. If entrepreneurship was easy, everybody would be doing it. And the percents of how many fail. So it's huge within 5 years. Most of the companies still ain't there. So it's a lot. So then to say, well, take it even further because you meant for it. That's a lot. It's a big ask. People don't like change. Ultimately, people don't like change. People don't like conflict. People don't like challenge. People don't like struggle. And to get there, you're gonna have to. You have to. There's like growth doesn't happen without challenge. So it's a mental mindset of like one getting back to and I'm gonna take it because I'm a Christian, so I'm gonna take it there. But like, who are you to say you're supposed to stop here if God told you to be here? Like, that's not for you to say. And if God gave you the gifts and the talents and your calling and your purpose, that's selfish of you to stay right here. There's a level of impact you're supposed to be doing up here and you comfortable right here and you're not reaching the people and the impact and the change in the community or the lives you meant to change. So sometimes you got to get back to your purpose that pushes you up there, right? So despite your comfort, there's something greater than you, right? So it's more existential. Like, who are you called to be? That's going to move you forward. Even when things aren't going right, if I know it's cliche, but if you know your why, like your purpose, your callings, your talents, there's nothing that really going to stop you, even though it's challenging, So I always tell people like, be careful. Like, don't just pick a business just because it seems easy. You better make sure it's aligned with your values and your purpose because you will stay stagnant if it's not. I was like, it's good. There's nothing to push you even further. Like, why would you do it? So, and that's another reason people that's possible. Like maybe they're misaligned, right? Maybe what they're doing isn't really what they're called to do. But a lot of times that's it. And if you kind of remind people and they stay focused on their purpose, they will start moving forward. Right. So I personally in my programs I keep people anchored to their purpose for that reason. I have specific ways to do that. but I keep people anchored to their purpose to keep them moving.
I know that's right. She said, I keep it moving. You hear
You
that? She
got to
said,
keep going.
hey, that's
We ain't
key.
here to be playing
Hey,
games.
keep
We
it
here to transform
moving.
lives, you know?
I like that. Keep it moving. So you gotta be like Nike and just do it, right?
Just do
Just
it.
do it. And do you think, because when you're an entrepreneur, relationships, I just want to touch on this before we get out of here. Relationships can play a big role on whether you succeed and fail when it
Yeah.
comes to being an entrepreneur. So do you think it's important to have, or how important do you think it is, shall I say, to have a healthy relationship? And let's say if you don't have a healthy relationship, do you feel it's important to fix the relationship before you try to like endure in your own adventures, or pursue your own career? Do you think it's important to fix that relationship, or do you think that, or just give me your take on how do you feel about that? Do you think like it's
You talking
important?
about romantic
Yes,
relationships
a
or
romantic relationship,
romantic
or
relationships?
and even family
Okay.
relationships, but mainly romantic relationships, because that's what's really gonna play a role when it comes to entrepreneurs.
It's gonna be a big one. I'm thinking about some people because I've encountered it where it's not supportive, right? And of course I've seen it where it is, but when it's not supportive, it's a big problem. It's a big problem. A lot of the times though, they were I would say they weren't aligned prior to, right? So like prior to starting that business, they weren't aligned, and then this just added problems on top of something that already wasn't healthy. That's a problem. Like, like maybe some people just start a business without the consent or support of the other person. Like, I don't know, if you thought that was just going to like be okay and you already had
Right,
problems,
right,
just it
right.
adds more problems, right? But yeah, I think it's very important to have the support and decide that together, because it's not just affecting you. It is not like if you are starting a business, you are affecting your family and that relationship. That's something that should be, discussed, right? But at the same time, your purpose is your purpose. So, you're trying to do that in the combination of you're sharing a life with someone, and that can be challenging. So I would say it's great to have the support. You want that before you start. You'd hope, right? And if not, like, that's something you guys might have to work through that through therapy or something, like, because you want to make sure people change. Maybe when you first started, nobody thought about that, but you want to make sure you're able to like grow as a couple together. And maybe they're not exactly the same dreams, but as long as you can support each other in those dreams, whether you're doing that or not, I think that is very important to have. And then again, one of the legs of what we do is work-life balance. So I think if you're going to if you're in a relationship, you best protect the time. I go back to boundaries. Protect the time. So I have this little exercise I do. It's like a little pie chart, right? And I tell people to divide the time of where their energy is being spent. Right. This is a quicker way than doing like hour to hour schedule too.
Right.
Right. So this is another little
I
like
like
sometime,
that.
and I'll be like, just right now, and I'll give them the main categories, like, so like work, family, romantic relationship, and then like social kind of stuff, right? Spirituality, if that counts for them. And then I'll say, like, just divide, what does your time look like right now? Just divide it out in the pie chart where you feel like most of your time is being spent. Most of the time it's like heavy, 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 heavy on business. Everything else is little bitty slices, of stuff. But it gives me like a quick like snapshot. I'll see, this is what I usually see. Either it's like a lot of family time, but not a lot of relationship time. Right. So they've identified too much into the family, ain't make enough time for couples. Or I'll see like no time for self. Everybody else got a slice of the pie. You don't seem to be in there at all. And it's like, how are you gonna give to your partner or your family or your business if you're not pouring into you? So that quick little pie chart thing gives me a quick analysis, like their values, their mindset on what's important and how they do. If it's not much time on self, like we got to work on that one. you
Right.
know, we also got to work on like, okay, everything needs protected time, and making sure you get that. And then partners are way more supportive if they don't feel like they have to be left out of the equation for your dreams, right? Like if y'all are married or y'all in a committed thing, They didn't ask for that either, to be counted out of, just like they don't exist anymore because you build a business. No, you have to balance these things. It's not a 50-50 thing necessarily, but it's just like you prioritize them when they need to be, if that makes sense. So we work on that because, this is a heavy thing. It's often in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. And that's why I asked that, because I was like, I know that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs you struggle with. I've struggled with it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that. So I just
Oh,
thought
yeah.
I'd ask, because I was like, well, what do you say to that? Like, how, I know it's important to have the support, but like you said, if you don't have the support, how do you work through that when you don't have it? So I was very glad to hear you.
If you don't have it, you guys need to, like, don't ignore it. That would be my thing. Like, don't ignore it and go actually get help. You either gonna talk through that yourself with that person, or you gonna get, like, go through therapy and get it. But don't ignore it. Like, you just you're creating like a breakup waiting to happen. Kind of thing. Yeah, you don't want to just act like, oh, we'll get through it. We'll patch things up when I get the business up, because that's what people do. And sometimes, you done put too much damage in there. Yeah, so you got to talk it through. Y'all got to kind of find a way to negotiate through that if that person wasn't supportive, and help each other see it from each other's perspective to find some middle ground if you're married or you stand with this person.
That's important. And also, one of the things she said, y'all, don't forget, don't make a decision without your significant other. That is very important. A lot of things.
That's something that's going to affect their life. You know what I'm saying? That's going to affect their life.
Exactly. Especially a business decision. Like, like especially if you're married, and y'all got y'all finances tangled up together and everything like that, please don't make a financial decision without your significant other. And I just feel like, even if you feel like you're trying to build a relationship, a serious relationship with anybody, you should be making business decisions with your significant other. That will cut down a lot of the problems. Because if y'all going in it together, most of the time, guess what? They're gonna already want to help you make the decision together, because they don't want to see their money go down the drain either. They had the decision to jump in that too. So, I'm grateful for that. So tell us, where can we find
Queen,
you?
can I ask you a question on that real quick? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What about the people, like, they don't support you though? Like, you talk to them, and then they don't support the dreams that you're trying to do. Like, I've actually, we've had calls where, we probably both have had calls where you're talking about your program. They're like, oh, let me talk to my partner. Then like, oh, my partner ain't getting behind this. And like, like they need to grow and do the things. So what do you say about that, is when someone is kind of like, you do talk about it, but they don't support it, or for whatever reason, could be jealousy, don't understand maybe their mindset where they grew up, I don't know, but they ain't behind it.
So you saying, like, if somebody in a relationship and they partner don't support it?
Yeah, they don't want them to do it. They ask ahead of time, but they don't want, because you've seen that where it's like someone's trying to hold back, like someone's holding back someone else's dream. And it happened more with women, right? Well, my husband or like, they don't want me to, and you like,
and a lot of men are scared to see women make more money than them. Like, a lot of men, especially if it's a dream. One thing I have learned is being a female entrepreneur, is that it's a lot of men that don't want to see women make more money than men. So sometimes that be an issue. But for me, when people come to me and I know, like, especially if I know you've been depressed and you've been sad and you've been aggravated and you've been agitated, you just really ain't been yourself. You go to your significant other and they just don't want to see you become a better individual, so I would have them go back and, talk and write that down on the paper, ask yourself, is the person, because I have a sheet that I call, called the people who's for you, and it outlines the people who for you, what they gonna be like, and the personalities that they gonna share and all that. So when I go through that worksheet, if anybody if they don't align with that, they're not for you. So if you've been depressed and you've been frustrated, especially with what we do mindset. So if somebody knows, like, if you know you're a wife or you're a husband, like for me, I'm saying, let's say if I know my husband been down, he's been frustrated, he's been aggravated, he just hasn't been himself, and he comes to me with this program, he's like, what, I've got the life coach, and who am I to tell him not to be a better individual? Sometimes you have to put it in perspective of you, because I use myself a lot for demonstrations, and because a lot of people don't understand that, so it's like, okay, well, if you saying you've been depressed, if you coming to me, especially if you talking to me, you tell me you've been depressed, you've been aggravated, you just like think yourself, and you have a significant other, and they don't want to invest in you become a better individual. But you right, and then don't come to me riding in a luxury car, but you can't invest in your mindset because I'm gonna pull it out. You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna ask you. So, you telling me that the car your husband or your significant other is saying that they willing to pay for a car that probably ain't gonna get you because people think a car gets you from A to B. That's an if. It might get you from A to B. You know what I mean? But if you invest in something that's gonna help you develop your mindset, that ain't a if. If you take actions on the steps that I'm giving you, it's going to help you become a better person. It's going to take away your depression. You're going to be less angry and sad. So,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have to spin it and turn it around to them in that aspect so they can see, like, hold on, girl, you're right. Like, why are you so that? And then you have to ask them sometimes, like, if your daughter's aggravated, sad, or frustrated, do you want them to be a better individual? And if they say, yeah, okay, do you feel like they deserve to be a better person?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, would you keep them from doing that? Nah, I would never keep them from doing that. So why do you feel like somebody should keep you from being a better individual?
Mm-hmm. I
Because
just wanted to
somebody
put
that,
that out there because
yeah,
we said make sure, but y'all may not agree just because you communicate.
right,
That's all I want to make sure.
yes,
But don't silence your purpose and vision, right?
yes,
Like you got to find some middle ground. So I wanted to make sure I said that because they may
yes,
not always agree, but if you know your vision, that's a negotiation if that person is for you. And
yes,
like Queen A said, maybe they're not. So I'm gonna leave that there.
yes, for real. Because I feel like, especially when it comes to mindset, with what we do, nobody should, if somebody's coming to us, because imagine we putting out programs and things like that, but people are still coming for us. They still have to put their email in there. They still have to sign up for the appointment. You know what I mean? We ain't come to them with a gun to their head like, you better sign this sheet and, fill it. So to me, if you're filling out the email sheet and you're setting an appointment, you let me know that you are
Mm-hmm.
lacking confidence and you need help in these areas. So I feel like if you coming to me about and you know that, to me, 9 times out of 10, your significant other knows that. They know that you're lacking confidence. They know you've been angry, you've been frustrated. They've been dealing with it. They've been hearing you, aggravated, cussing, yelling, screaming. They've been dealing with it. So my thing is, I'm insisting on getting both of them on a call. Because
Yep.
I'm gonna come to the husband. Ain't you tired of hearing her? Ain't you tired of being frustrated with her? Because I know she been going off and angry and aggravated. When you a snicker, you like you said, you hangry when you hungry.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask the husband, you ready for her to be hangry all day? You want to continue to be frustrated? When you want
Yep.
to have her mindset, have her less angry and less frustrated. Guess what? She's less angry. She's less frustrated. That's less lit for you. Less things that
Yeah.
she
So
asking you to
talk it
do.
out. Yeah. That's the
Less
big
money you have
takeaway.
to spend in the
Yeah.
long run. Because people understand the
Mm-hmm.
long run is what you got to think about. Because I'm asking you, like we asking for these programs, you just spending this for this limited amount of time. But let's say no, and they get angry and everything. Let's say maybe every time they get angry, they go on a shopping spree and they bank in the bank. Because some people get everybody has a
Yep.
different habit when they get angry. Some people eat a lot. Some people spend their money. Some people, it's just different things that people do.
Yep.
So it can also save you money by curing your depression, keeping you from being angry. So this can save you money. It can save you time. It can save you a headache. All different type of issues. So
Yep.
y'all women out there understand, like Dr. Nina said. So when I put the question out there, don't be thinking that walk away. I'm glad she said that. No,
Yeah.
I just want to
Get them on the
propose the
call. Talk
question.
about it.
Yes. I just want to propose the question that, if somebody, especially with mindset, if you come into us with depression issues and you haven't been yourself, and more than likely your significant other know you haven't been yourself, your kids know you haven't been yourself, because they get the butt end of what we do. So I feel like nobody who really wants to see you be a better individual, really wants to help you, they're not going to take away from you becoming a better person. We're not asking you to spend money on a luxury car. We ask you to spend money on your mindset. So you won't be depressed. So you won't be angry. So your family can be happier. So your relationship can, can prosper more. The things we do is going to help you throughout your whole life. Your business even going to prosper more with Dr. Me. Like you talk to Dr. Me, you come to her with that, guess what? By the time you finish with her, you more positive. You feeling, you just excited, got all these positive endorphins floating around you. Now you ready to get behind the thing. You're going to start typing up like crazy. Going to your business, talking to people. You're going to have a million
Oh,
ideas.
I
Goals.
have that testimony. Increased sales, increased networking, increased
Yeah.
opportunities with entrepreneurs. Yeah, definitely. Right. Because if you change your mindset, you change your habits.
Yeah.
If you changing your habits, then you actually like you're impacting your business. We work on the way you're talking, you're connecting more. So it all ripple effects. It definitely will increase your income in your business. It's going to improve your life. right? Not just your business, but your life too, because you're going to take these skill sets and apply them to your family and relationships as well, right? Not just in business. So I always say it's transformational in many ways, but it does transform them dollars.
Yes. Yes. If it
So
don't
like
make
that,
dollars, it
because
don't make sense.
business owners want to know, like, it does transform them dollars and your profits.
Yes, that is so true. That is so true. But thank you for pulling that out because, a lot of women would have took that and they would have ran with that. Like, well, I gotta, someone would have took that like, okay, well, I can't do nothing if he don't agree. No, it's not. That's
Right.
not what we're saying. So
No,
I'm glad we were able to break that down.
not what we're saying.
That's not what we said. So I'm glad we was able to break that down. So and let them know because I'm pretty sure so many people, like so many entrepreneurs that need mind coaching. Like they need that. They need a psychologist. You know what I mean? I did say it right. Was I
Yeah,
right?
you got it.
I was right to say. Y'all see me stop. I was like, hold up. So, 'cause they need that. So where can they find you at? Because like I'm an entrepreneur, and when I say y'all want to follow her on Instagram, she's on Facebook, all that. She's going to tell y'all how, but make sure y'all follow her because just for me, she gives out great mindset tips for any
Thank
entrepreneur
you.
that's out there. So let them know where they can find you at, Doctor.
Thank you. It should be on screen. I am Dr. Dr. Nina, Nina. That's on like what is that? Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you're a Facebooker, it's Nina Cunningham Jefferson, or Path to Alignment is in Instagram and Facebook as well. So I'm around. I am around in a lot of places. When I will say, like, I do have a free resource, so Queen A, I'll share that so your audience can have that. So for entrepreneurs, I have a free roadmap to success. It's a mini masterclass, not too long, but there's practical tips at the end of that kind of like how we've talked about today, that you can put into your business and get going, right? So if you want that, check it out. It's a free resource to you. And if you want to schedule with me, you follow that link along and it'll get you there too. So yeah.
And y'all gonna want it. I'm letting y'all know y'all gonna want that free resource. So make sure. So make sure when I drop that link under this video that y'all take advantage of that. And I want to say that when it comes to mindset, take advantage of these trainings that y'all get out here. Take advantage of these people that out here like Dr. Ning that's taking time out of their day to give y'all these free resources. And just think, if she's giving you the free resource like that, just imagine when you pay for her coaching programs, what she's going to give you. Because you have two different programs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain to us the different programs?
One is a group program. Yeah, one is a group program. It's called Mind Your Business. It's a 12-week program. That one is for entrepreneurs, right? Specifically. So entrepreneurs, I'm talking to you, right? Like it definitely focuses on mindset, success habits, work-life balance, and communication. And whether you realize this or not, like, you need more than skill set to elevate your business. All those entrepreneurs are like, let me learn this marketing thing. Let me learn this sales thing. Let me go here. Let me get this motivational speaking and lift me up. And those are all external, short-term motivations, right? And then that's going to fizzle out and you're going to wonder why you're in the same cycle. It's because it's an internal change that needs to happen. And that's what we work on. If you truly elevate your mindset and habits, you cannot help but elevate your business. So that is what we work on: long-term success, transformational change. So it's a 12-week program. You get like replays and all that. It's got all kinds of goodies and bonuses in it. It's a combination of action steps, learning moments. Like, we have didactics, we have Q&A. There's individual feedback that I give. You got to turn stuff into me, right? There's reflective assignments. So you're not just guessing at this thing. We're in it together, and I'm combining like scientific methods, clinical psych, behavior analysis, NLP, psych, clinical things are going on. I'm combining all that into this program. Small group. So everybody gets to talk, everybody gets to explore. So that's that, 12 weeks. And the other one is one-on-one. That's the one I talked about with it's called a breakthrough immersion. And that's the VIP package. I only do one of them a month because it's very intense. And it's 12 weeks as well, but it's 2 days where we spend 2 days, 10 to 12 hours, and we release all your limiting beliefs, the five major negative emotions. we get through all of that in the context of whatever you came in for. So like if it's career entrepreneurs, right, that's what we're releasing around the 12 hours of that, right? So that's like equivalent to months in therapy. We just release all that.
Yeah.
And then we maintain those gains through virtual, virtual calls once for the next 3 months, and we maintain those gains, and we do things to keep you moving forward. So I won't get into too much detail, but those are the two. So one is one-on-one, one is group. Both are very intensive, reflective action steps with a lot of practical tips, and both are very scientific and clinically based.
Okay. Now, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. She giving y'all some juice on that, especially that one-on-one. That one-on-one, she said 10. That's the one with 10 to 12 hours, right?
It's the first 2 days we go to Airbnb, we like 10 to 12 hours, we cranking out a lot of, it's intense. I tell people it is intense, but I've not had anybody that has not been transformed from those breakthroughs. So,
and how many people do y'all know are willing to put they time on a line for y'all and spend 10 to 12 hours for
10 to
2
12 hours.
days? Like, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, but you can't run from yourself. That's the thing. Like, we're going to get to the roots. Ain't no other. We getting to it. Hey, so yeah.
I'm like, that's amazing. Y'all at an Airbnb, y'all get 10 to 12 hours of mindset training. Like, do y'all understand, like, coaching alone, some people will charge you an arm and a leg just to spend 30 minutes with you. And the fact that she's willing to spend 10 to 12 hours for y'all better book Dr. Nina. I'm here to tell y'all. So before we get off of here, I want to personally thank you. So if y'all don't know, I met Dr. Nina. We was in training together. We was in a coaching class together. And just to see how far that you came, like both of us, and like it's amazing to see us like trying to figure out how we want to run our business, actually starting our business, and now getting leads and actually, changing lives. I just want to let you know that I see you all the time.
I see you, Queen.
Thank you. Hey, I want to thank you because the stuff you put out there is very mind transforming. Like, I watch it. If I see it, I always watch it. Like, I never some people you scroll past, you like, whatever, they ain't got nothing to talk about. They talking about, but every time I see you, I listen to you because you always have something that, that every time I listen to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like, I do need to start doing that's like, it's like you talking to me. Like when you was talking about, I need to start, my day starts the day before. I was like, oh my gosh, she's talking to me because I'm still working on trying to make sure I go to bed at midnight. Like, so, so I just want to thank you for just coming on here and really pouring out to the Slapping with Truth audience, because it takes a big person to do that. You could have went on anybody else's platform, but you chose little old me, and I thank you for that. I really
not little old. We're gonna reframe that right now. Not little old. We're reframing that right now.
Hey, say that again. Say that again. Say no. I really want to thank you, and then for you dropping the free resources for my audience. I want to just thank you for that, because I already know they're gonna get something more than what they could have ever imagined that they're gonna get from it. Something that they would have paid somebody an arm and a leg for, they're gonna get for free. Just by listening to you on here. And just, I hope when y'all listen to that, y'all see what y'all able to get. If you just invest, you're gonna get way much more. And just think, if she can change out with just that little bit, let me tell y'all, you don't want to miss out, because a lot of us, we don't take initiative. So take initiative when you're ready to take initiative. A lot of us, we wait, and when we wait, it never gets done. So when y'all see that link, take the initiative. I just wanted to say that. Make sure y'all take.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you again for being here. And you already know, Dr. Nee, but I gotta say, if don't nobody else love you, you already know Queen A does.
Back at you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Later. So y'all heard it from, that was Dr. Nina in the flesh. I want to thank her. She is amazing. Like, every time I'm talking about, when we was in coaching, she was amazing. She was amazing on here. And don't forget to take advantage of the free resources that she's going to drop. And don't forget, she is a psychologist. She digs deep when it comes to mindset. I'm a life coach. So if you don't know the difference, so a psychologist, they focus on the trauma and things that you went through in your past. They want to get to the root, and they want to help you overcome that, right? A life coach, we start from where you are now. Okay, you've been through that. This is where you are now. What can we do to help you elevate to the next level? Right? She helps you elevate to the next level also. The only difference is she's going to get in deep in your mind and find out what your traumas is, and like really get to the bottom root. Right? As a life coach, I don't need to get to the bottom route to help you be a better individual. I just need to see where you are now and how we can take the steps to help you become more confident. Okay. So just in case a lot of people don't understand what the difference is. So if you feel like you on here and you need somebody that can help you dig up your past and overcome your roots and what you've been through and like really dig deep because you feel like you just been so stressed, then guess what? Guess what? Dr. Nina is going to be your lady. If you like, okay, I know what I've been through in the past. I just can't seem to get confident. I just need to figure out how to get the steps to get more confident. That's where I come in, right? So if you really want somebody that's going to help you overcome your past traumas, reach out to Dr. Nina. She's going to help entrepreneurs. She's going to help you get to the root of your past traumas and then overcome that and help you come up with a plan to overcome. If you like, you know what? I know what my past traumas is. You know, I just need to understand why I'm not confident, why I'm angry, why I've been depressed, or why I just haven't been myself lately and get some goals to get back to me. That is where Queen A comes in, okay? So I hope y'all got something from this. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe. If you want to be a guest on my Slapping with True podcast, make sure that y'all reach out to me. You can inbox me. You can comment on this video. Don't forget you can find me at Queen A Speaks. That is on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. It's Ariel St. Clair, AERIAL. ST period CLAIR, or you can just type in Queen A Speaks with a hashtag and it'll pop up. All right. But if you want to be on my team, like if you want to be part of the family, you want to be part of my each one M1 family, make sure that you comment Lion and I'll go ahead and we'll book you an appointment and we'll make sure that we're a great fit for each other so I can be your life coach, all right? And remember, if don't nobody else love y'all, y'all already know Queen A does. Later.